to talk with you. We haven't had been a Tech Talk Thursday since 2021, so it's been a while.
It has.
And
It has.
we've talked in between a little bit, but certainly we've talked to Mary and we've gotten some progress reports. So many people are going to hear this for the first time. So why don't you start off by describing, H2O connected, and just give us a description, and then we'll go in a little bit into products.
All right, that sounds great. So I am the co-founder and CEO of a company called H2O Connected, and we develop and manufacture technologies that can detect nearly every type of water loss problem that can occur in a tank toilet, so that property owners can increase their profitability and they can meet their conservation sustainability initiatives. So that's been our focus. And we have products for the homeowner, and we have products for multi-tenant and hospitality commercial properties as well. We did our soft launch. We're in 24 buildings. We're, and then we're in front of a lot of larger brands also in the hotel market and in residential.
So kind of give us the kind of the magnitude. When you're talking about water leaking, whether it's faucets or toilets or whatever, what kind of volume of water are we talking about?
A lot.
A lot.
So it depends on the issue. And since we can quantify every drop of water that goes through every toilet on a property, this is data that we can confirm through our system. So when the chain hangs up and you have a wide open flapper, that wastes anywhere between 4.5 and 5.5 gallons per minute. So you're talking about 7,000 gallons a day. You have leaking flappers themselves, the flapper degrades, or there's some crud that gets underneath it and it leaks and then the toilet refills. Those can run anywhere from minor, 20, 30, 40 gallons a day, all the way up to 300 gallons a day. And you would say, well, why doesn't somebody notice that? Because most of the reasons that property owners have these toilet issues is because they don't know they're happening. But with issues like that, either it's a multifamily property or a hotel where the tenant or guest isn't going to report it, or they think there's air in the line, or they can't hear it. Some folks are hearing challenged. So there's a variety of reasons, and there's no water on the floor. So it's not like there's a visible problem. So other problems include a faulty fill valve where the toilet is filling, but when it gets at the end of the flush cycle, the fill valve is supposed to shut off. And oftentimes it doesn't. And so it'll continue to just kind of bleed water into the tank. Sometimes it doesn't shut off at all. And the water will rise and start going down the overflow tube. So it's just a vicious cycle. Other times we have seen that the flapper is leaking at the same rate that the fill valve is filling. And so there's no rise and fall of water height, but there's a tremendous amount of leakage. And that's also can be in that 100, 200, 300 gallon a day issue. And then one thing that we're finding that nobody would have known until we came on the scene is folks are trying to save water with ultra low flow toilets. Well, they're not ultra low flow if they're leaking. They're also not ultra low flow if they're not set properly. And we're finding somewhere between, it can be as high as 90% of the toilets on a property, but it's almost always in excess of 70. These ultra low flow toilets, they are not set properly. So they're still flushing at 2.5 to 3.5 gallons per flush. And so one of the things our system does is it identifies the volume, the flush volume of each toilet on the property. And then when it is excessive, it will tell you how many inches to adjust the fill valve to bring the flush volume back into compliance. So it's so you can save water day one with every flush. So there's a lot of different ways that toilets aren't functioning properly, and it is the #1 cause of water loss and water waste in a building. So unless you have a catastrophic pipe break or something like that. It also can identify potential toilet overflows. So if that happens, you also have the water damage. So it's pretty slick. We're very proud of it.
So what, from a percentage standpoint, of the toilets out there, how many of them are leaking?
The EPA says 20%. We're finding it's more than that. It's
Yeah.
somewhere around 25 to 30.
Mhm.
And we're finding that if you count the flush volume efficiency, the inefficient toilets, it's more than 70%. So you reach usually 75 to 80% of the toilets that we work with have some sort of water wasting issue of some varying degree. The reality is that a lot of the current ways that people detect toilet leaks, such as dye tablets or whole home monitors or things that go in the water line, they can't always detect the problems when they start. It has to be a certain volume for it to trigger their, the notification. And in addition, they can't tell someone usually like either where it's located. If you have a whole home monitor, it doesn't tell you if you have 400 toilets, which one is it, and how much you're going to pay your maintenance guy to run around and put dye tablets in every toilet trying to find it. It also can't tell you what the problem is. And part of our ability to make maintenance incredibly efficient and lower labor costs on the professional, the Leak Alerter Pro, the professional version, is that we not only tell them where it is, and we quantify what the problem is so they can prioritize their repairs, but we tell them exactly what to fix. So there's no guesswork. They can go in, fix it, leave, they're done, and they go on to their next assignment.
So that's a good lead in. A little bit about the product line and what's going on there.
Well, we have a homeowner version, sells on Amazon and on our website. This literally installs in seconds without tools. You don't need to know anything about plumbing hardware to install it. You lift up the tank. I have one. You lift up the tank. This is what it looks like. Mm-hmm. You hang it on the toilet tank wall. The sensors go inside the tank. The enclosure has the alerts on it, and that's outside the tank. Put the tank lid on, flush the toilet, you're done. That's the install, 5 seconds. And then when someone flushes the toilet, the device says, oh, someone's in the bathroom. So it will flash green if everything's okay. It'll flash red and beep if there's a problem. And depending on how it flashes and beeps, it will let the user know what the problem is. So that sells for about $36 on Amazon or on our website. And then we have the commercial version, which is a Leak Alerter Wireless Pro. And that is this guy. Mm-hmm. Right? So it has sensors, and you lift up again, installs in seconds. You lift up the tank lid. There's what hangs on the back of the tank wall, and put the tank lid on, flush the toilet, you're done. It senses water and it wakes up, and then it will handshake to our proprietary gateway. So we have our own gateway. And so for commercial buildings, it's important that the guest or the resident, it's completely invisible. There's no worry it's a camera or it's a recording device or anything like that. So it's completely invisible. And then it will start to model the toilet, and it will start sending data to our dashboard. And when there's a significant event, like a running toilet or an overflow, it'll send a text message to whoever the property owner wants to get that, whether it's maintenance or a front desk or and then they can fix it. And the dashboard gives all kinds of water usage analytics in a very user-friendly format, so they can manage their toilets efficiently, and they can also calculate what is their water waste costing them and how much are they saving. Right now, what people are starting to realize is the relationship between greenhouse gases and water. So 10% of the greenhouse gases in this country come from the usage of water. It takes a lot of electricity to transport, distribute, and treat water. So there's a lot of initiatives as far as with their ESG initiatives to reduce greenhouse gases. And because we can quantify water waste and therefore quantify water savings, we can help them quantify their greenhouse gas reductions through fixing their toilets. So it gives them another way to get to those greenhouse, to meet their ESG initiatives. So
if somebody has 50, 100 toilets on a property, and they've installed these in each toilet, when they have an issue, it will tell them, what is it? It tells them exactly the toilet and exactly what's going on.
It tells them where the toilet and what the problem is. And it
Okay.
also will tell them, how many gallons, per day they're wasting, and when it started, what the total water waste is, and then the cost based on it. The dashboard has the ability for you to put in your own water and sewer rate. Because remember, you're not just paying for water, you're paying for sewer too. So it's water
So,
in, water out
right.
rate.
So, what are your primary markets? Where are you, where's your focus from a market perspective?
Well, hotels is certainly a big market for us. And we're in several hotels, and it's working quite well. And then multifamily, so we've worked with public housing authorities. So a lot of those authorities have older buildings. So we can really help them save a lot of money on their water costs, water and sewer costs. Multi-tenant, so apartment buildings, senior housing, student housing, anywhere where you have multiple families living in one unit. So those are prime targets for us.
So you've kind of alluded to it, but what kind of testimonial do you have from some of your customers?
I'm glad you asked. So just to give you an example, two of our hotel customers, we have two different types of hotels, and they're well maintained. And this is just a testament to how much water a well-maintained property can have. So usually, what we do is we install the system and we tell our customers, unless it's a catastrophic leak, like a running toilet or overflow, just let it sit. Let's know what your baseline is. So in that case, one was wasting 40,000 gallons the first 30 days. The other one was wasting 92,000 gallons the first 30 days because they had so many running toilets. And so that gives them an idea of what they're actually wasting. And then as they fix those, they were able to bring that down dramatically. So the 90,000 gallon waste property, that was $22,000 a year they were going to be spending on water and sewer that they didn't need to be. So they captured, so far they've captured 18,000 of that savings. So, and that enabled them to pay for the system in 6.5 months. The other property that was that had $40,000 worth of 40,000 gallons worth of savings. It'll take them about 16 to 18 months to pay for the system. And then from then on, we have a 5-year warranty, 5-year battery life, and the battery's replaceable, so it can go on for a long time. Then after that, it's money in the bank, other than the subscription cost every year, which is pretty minimal.
But so for each unit within a toilet, there's a subscription fee for every year for the commercial.
Yeah, there's
So
because you're getting data, you're getting a
Sure.
lot of reporting. So the node that goes inside the tank is $65. Our gateway, and we usually only need one per property, is $650, and then the subscription is $2.25 per toilet per month.
So
So
you've got a nice reoccurring revenue model.
we have very nice recurring revenue
Plus you
model.
have great testimonial from standpoint of real life experience that this is financially, economically and environmentally impactful.
And there's a lot of intangibles. Like I said, it helps them with their ESG initiatives. A lot of these properties can advertise to their customers how they're saving water, how they're reducing electricity in the system itself. They want to see their own electric bill go down, but in the aggregate, it helps reduce the burden on the electrical grid. And so it's something they can certainly tell their customers, and customers have their own conservation initiatives now. I mean, they want to support businesses that are doing great things for the planet, and this is something that can help them, win the customer.
And in polls and surveys that we take generally, water is, with the general public, is one of the top 3 things that they think about. I mean, it's not number 10. It's definitely water into the future.
Mhm.
quality water in the future is definitely somewhat top of mind.
I
So,
think it's only growing too. I mean, when we first started this, water was sort of an afterthought.
right.
I think the importance of water is definitely growing, and I think if people can catch on to the connection between wise water stewardship and wise energy stewardship and how they're aligned, I think it'll really even increase the importance of paying attention to water even more.
Because people don't really oftentimes don't think about the cost of getting that water to their house. It's the pumps in and out and so on and so forth from source water.
Or
So
treating it.
yes, and treating just
And
for
treating
treating it,
it is
cost of
a
treating it.
big deal. That's
Yeah.
right. Yep.
Yeah.
And I think because of the focus on fossil fuels and that has been sort of the overriding push that they don't realize, and so it's been about greenhouse gases, but people don't realize that there's a connection between greenhouse gas emissions and water usage. So we're trying to help get that word out because it's just a win-win-win.
Yes.
It's
So you've been around Global Waterworks for quite some time, maybe actually longer than I have, actually. So, so you've experienced us through certainly a lot of growth. What are your thoughts on the value that Global Waterworks brings to the marketplace?
Well, I think you really understand um, water. Well, like the name says, Global Waterworks. I mean, you've got your fingers on the pulse of all the technologies that are going on at a global level, not just national level. You have connections to the utility markets, to startups in water technologies, to more mature companies that are trying to solve these problems, as well as federal agencies and federal policies. So you can bring sort of the whole view of what's going on in water to one place. I know when it always amazes me when I talk to Mary. She knows everything about everything that has to do with water.
That's
Who's
true.
who? She's everywhere.
That's true. And we're in the travel season right now with conferences and stuff. So H2O connected, it sounds like you're on a really good path. What do you see, 18 months, maybe even as much as 2 years out for the company?
Well, there are some other products we'd like to add to the line. Exploding brand awareness.
Yeah.
Is this a new product? I would argue it's a new category because toilet leak detection is really not in the mainstream.
Right.
And so we want to be the dominant brand. And so, it's exploding brand awareness. So when everyone thinks of toilet leaks, they think of leak alerter, whether it's homeowner, whether it's commercial, it's leak alerter. And I do think that sooner or later, it's going to be toilet leak detection is going to be legislated at some point, and I'm not necessarily pushing for that, but and when that happens, I want to be the one people think about.
Yeah,
I want to be the
absolutely.
product everybody has to have. So we know our system works. We know it makes businesses maintenance very, very efficient. So we're helping save money on a lot of levels. So I think that we just want to get that word out there so everyone knows who we are and what we do. And thank you for helping us do that.
Well, and it's much appreciated. We appreciate you and your business, and certainly you helped us a lot in the conversations as far as our direction. Susan, thank you so much for your time. Looking forward to continuing the conversation and your great success.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm always happy to be on here with you. So I appreciate it.